you ended up going into the IFL as a coach and a fighter. How did that jump come about? I think you were telling me off camera that they actually paid more than UFC at the time.
Yeah, the IFL was a great opportunity. You know, it was a publicly traded company. They had a, you know, I guess novel concept in that we've competed as a teams, you know, 5-on-5 throughout the night. You know, that was, I guess, you know, it was a novel thing. Did it really make a big difference? No, because at the end of the day, you were still the only guy in the ring against another guy. And team or no team, you're in there by yourself, right? So when it came down to the nitty-gritty, it was more of the same. It was just, you know, again, another promoter trying to get as many fighters as they could to come and compete for them.
What do you think the failure of the IFL was ultimately?
The failure of the IFL, part of it is, yeah, you know, the way they went about trying to get fighters to compete for them and so forth was too little too late. You know, the way MMA is structured in such a way that it leads to a monopoly by default. When you have promoters who have their own title and have athletes under contract with them, eventually if those promoters have exclusive contracts, eventually every athlete's going to have to compete for one promoter. So the IFL just came about too little, too late. And again, I stress, you know, it wouldn't have mattered if it was the IFL that came first or second. The way the sport's structured is that whoever came first ends up with a monopoly. Right? All the fighters end up having to compete, or at least all the top fighters have to compete for the same top title. Right? You don't have multiple titles that are recognized because you can't. Every promoter has exclusive contracts, so it's impossible. And you know, the chance to go out there and compete for other titles now it's impossible. You know, especially if you want to be able to compete for the title that matters. Well, there's only one, so it's impossible to want to go and compete for other guys. Because even if you could, why would you want to? Right? So that's what killed the IFL. It's just the way the sport's structured. It's structured in such an anti-competitive way that if you weren't the promoter that got in there first, locked up enough athletes, put the money behind the branding so that the public only recognizes your title, it's like it creates like a network effect. You just end up with more and more and more and more of a monopoly over time. And the only way to break it is, you know, we need to have a structure like boxing or a structure like tennis. You know, the tennis structure doesn't work in prize fighting because if it did, it would be present in boxing, right? And you know, when you put all these market forces together, the proper structure is one where there's a sanctioning body, and there's promoters with exclusive contracts and titles and rankings and all these things. All these decision-making aspects of the sport are done through competition, and they're independent of any vested interest. You know, to me, it's only when we have sport like that can you see other promoters thrive and survive. You know, so because that's not the state of affairs, that's what killed the IFL.